Alright, our first thing up is an angiosperm, which, very surprisingly, this succulent that I'm growing is. And you know what? I, to be honest, did not know succulents could bloom, but this one did. So angiosperm is basically any plant that reproduces via flowering. So that's what this little guy is doing. And they're really cute. Little flowers. Yeah. Oh my god, now I have to get this back up there. Okay, so next word is thigmotropism. Okay, so thigmotropism is like geotropism, which we learned about. If you paid any attention in freshman biology, you probably learned that word. If you didn't learn that word, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. But anyways, so thigmotropism is the response plants have to contact. So in most cases, thigmotropism is vine-ish plants that have kind of tendrils that grow out from them. They have thigmotropism in the sense that when one of those tendrils comes into contact with something, if they're a vining plant, you know, it curls around it and grows around it. But thigmotropism can also manifest much more interestingly in these dumb ferns, which have a very neat response when you touch them. So you're probably going to zoom in here. This is going to be very hard to get to show up. Tell me when you're ready for me to touch the plant.
Go ahead.
It's so slow. It's so slow. But yeah. There we go. That's a nice one. And you know, they don't quite fully close, not for a long time, because plants can't move very fast. But it's basically the same thing. Phoenix flytraps. Oh yeah, that would be a cool plant. Venus flytraps do. But ferns do it. I guess it's to help them not be eaten. Oh, it's smaller though. They don't close quite as much when they're young. Oh wait, never mind. This one's really good. This little youthful plant. Nice. Touch the plant. And if you touch it repeatedly, you get a better closing on them. And these little ferns are fun because, one, they grow in my neighborhood, but they also grow, this is like a big patch of them, and all along this creek bed, there's a bunch of them scattered in with the other flora. But they also grow along, you know how sidewalks have that thing of grass on the side? They grow there too, and in people's yards if they don't mow too much. And also, if they aren't super aggressive about having only grass in their yard, which is super lame. Next up, we're gonna look for onions.
Okay, recording.
Okay, so sidebar from the onion thing, I found a bee, and he is in the water.
There he is.
Oh, no, buddy, no. Oh my god. Bees are not great at water. Please don't sting me, please don't sting me. They're not very stingy, really. They tend to leave you alone, if you're nice. No! Are you kidding me? You need, like... I'm beginning to wonder if for the evolutionary benefit of bees, I should let you die. I'm kidding, that would be extremely mean. Okay. Come on. Come on. If it is to be, it's up to me. Oh no, are you down a wing? Oh no, it's just stuck to your back. My god, that would really suck. Okay, let's hope it doesn't fall immediately back in. So that's a pollinator. Bees pollinate flowers by getting pollen onto their fuzzy little bodies and going in legs and stuff, and then going to the next flower and mixing the pollen around. Flowers love that, man. And without bees, we wouldn't have a lot of the plants we have, which everyone knows. So that's our pollinator, folks. He looks like he'll be okay. His one wing is kind of stuck to his back, but it should unstick once he dries it off a little more. And hopefully he just chills out in this rock till then. He's kind of crawling all around on it, so I'm worried he'll fall back in, but cross your fingers, have faith in the little buddy. Okay, so we are in a creek bed, as you can tell by the water and mud, which onions love because onion plants require a lot of water. And it's rained enough recently that I'm really hoping that we've got a good enough amount of wild onions that finding a wild onion doesn't take too long. And you know, in Austin you can find wild onions kind of all over, so if you're in a creek bed in your neighborhood, be on the lookout. They have a much more biting flavor than grocery store onions, but you can eat them. They just taste awful, but it's kind of fun. Like eating clovers, which are also edible and taste really bad. Make sure what you're eating is actually a clover. There are some plants, there's like a kind of a mimic plant for clovers. They're very, did he fall back in? I mean, if he keeps falling back in, what am I supposed to do? He's by the rock. I think he can get back on it on his own this time. Supposed to be looking for onions, not saving bees. He's fine. He got back on the rock. Okay. So there are so onion plant stems are a particular kind of stem, so that's what I'm going to be looking for while I crawl around in the mud in my nice shirt that I wore for some reason. And yeah, so this plant I know isn't an onion because onion stems don't have this texture. They don't flop over like this. They're a little stiffer. I'd say they're a little bit more smooth, but not. They have a bit more of a petal-like texture. I've got like mud all over my legs now. So this could take a little bit, and you know what? I may not even find one, but I'm gonna probably talk about it either way. Oh my God! That's the best thing about this creek is that you find all kinds of cool things. I wonder if there's anything I can talk about ribs, because I think this is a rib. Eleanor, you know more about bones than I do.
That's a rib.
Nice.
Can you show it again? That's probably a food rib.
A food rib.
Like human food.
Cool. That's even cooler in some ways. And that's a mosquito. Hey, parasitism! That's parasitism! Because the mosquito came up to me and started drinking my blood, which benefited the mosquito and harmed me a little bit. Because it could itch later. Although I'm actually not allergic to mosquitoes, so I'll be fine. But it didn't do enough of that to kill me, which is why I'm not a prey in this scenario. Oh my God, I see the part of an onion. Cross your fingers, it's not a dead one. Onions have these little, actually, you know what? Kind of the flower bulbs of the onion things. I'm not 100% sure what these are called, to be honest. You can't see what I'm talking about. But it looks like it's pretty dead. But I found part of an onion, and I broke it. But you know, onions grow these little things on top when they go to seed. So it looks like the onions may be out of season, folks. Oh, still smell like onions. Smell it.
No.
Okay, it's really strong. It'll really, you know, if you're ever out and about in nature and you need something to clear your nose, a wild onion will do that for you. They are not at all domesticated, and they have, because you know the stuff in an onion that makes an onion make your eyes burn is there to reduce predation or reduce like consumption of the onion. Basically, it's not technically predation because like herbivores aren't usually considered predators in that scenario, but that's what it's for. The onions. Oh my God, we may have just gotten lucky. So with the skinnier onions, you kind of have to dig in because their stems are fragile and you're very likely to just break it. You try to pull it out. But I think we have it. I found a patch of them. So this is an onion plant. Notice how the stem and leaves are much more rounded than that other plant that I was showing you guys. This plant kind of, like this is more leaf and this is more modified stem kind of. And that's what an onion is a good example of. It's a modified stem. The onion bulb is a modified stem called a bulb, basically. And it's kind of the onion, it has leaves. They came off when I pulled it out, but onions grow like these leaves around the onion bulb to protect it while it's in the ground. And they store a lot of nutrients there. It's kind of the main purpose of it. And modified stems can be a lot of things. Modified stems can be things that grow horizontally, like stems growing horizontally, or stems growing horizontally underground, or just bulbs, like the onion has. Beautiful. And they look a lot like, they mostly tend to look like this. They don't, this is the average size for wild onions that you're going to find lying around. Do you triple dog dare me to eat this?
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm going to wash it off in the water even though, don't do this. This is terrible. This is going to taste awful. Christ! They're kind of good though, but they're so spicy! Yeah! I didn't bring anything to eat after this! We didn't even bring water! Never do that! They taste so bad! So that's modified stems, folks. And also don't eat wild onions, they taste awful. But they're kind of fun! It's fun to eat anything that you find in nature, and that's one plant that I can say is safe and won't kill you. And they're really easy to recognize. So you know what, if you are stranded, there is the main rule, which is you should really only eat things that you're 100% certain are edible. And I feel like you can identify onions pretty easily. Happy trails. Okay, I'm sitting on a rotting log here to tell you about decomposers, which are not on our list, but fungus is really cool, so we're talking about it anyway. But here's a nice little fungus. I'm going to talk a little bit about spores, because fungus can go to spores. Ooh! Look at this beautiful spider web. Lovely. Hey! Predation! This spider has a nifty adaptation for catching prey and eating it, which is the spider web, which it uses to... Oh, look, there's so many. These spider webs, they look so soft. I'm not going to touch them because that would destroy them, but they look so soft. From here, I'm like at an angle where the light is hitting the spider web just so that it's actually kind of coming through rainbowy. So, nature is beautiful and amazing. But I digress, spiders eat bugs. Anyways, back to the fungus, which is breaking down this tree log. So, the organisms aren't completely efficient. There's a lot of stuff that just sort of ends up being in your body that you aren't using up completely, and a lot of nutrients, things like nitrogens or whatever, all that kind of stuff needs to go back into the soil to be recycled back into the ecosystem, which is why we need decomposers like fungus breaking things like this rotting tree log down, so that all the good stuff in this tree log goes into the soil and gets back into the ecosystem. So thank the noble fungus. Also, it has a neat texture, and I like it. Alright, now we gotta find the lichen. So anyways, a lichen is a composite organism. That was the specific term used, which I feel is a nice term. And it's algae or cyanobacteria living in harmony with a fungus. And those two things together are what makes a lichen. A lichen does not exist as something separate from those two things. So really a lichen, the word lichen really more describes that particular symbiotic relationship than it does this as a single organism, because it's not a single organism. And that's really cool because they live so closely together. That's actually probably a very interesting example of coevolution, that we consider them their own thing. And we've got a lot of different kinds. Like that one's pretty yellow, and it's different from this one, which looks a little bit more like lettuce. Oh, and this one has some nice sort of green colors to it, if you can catch them. It has an interesting texture, and lichen is in general, it can be very beautiful. So keep your eyes open, because sometimes you see lichen that has a lot of, thanks tree, a lot of hidden colors in it. And, it grows on trees all over them. You see a lot of the green. I see the two main kinds I see are this cabbagey kind looking kind, and the very yellow kind, which is actually also on this branch here on the side of it that you can't really see. So those are the two. Those actually, it might be the same variety in different stages of its life, for all I know, but those are what I see when I find them. We are in a drainage ditch. We're pretty deep into it, and the nice thing about Millwood is that our drainage ditches segue into sort of natural creeks anyways, so there's a lot of limestone around here. So we're in this particular ditch that we're deep in is off of Mercury. It's by the Mercury intersection with the Delphi. And it's a lovely little place. We are on the side of it that if you go far enough into not the direction we're in, but on the other direction, you will get to the Walgreens. Yay! And if you go even further, you get to the baseball park. A lot of these things connect. It's very beautiful. I recommend that hike. We're stopping back at my house to look at at a cactus and an invasive bush.
And get some food.
Oh yeah, because I ate an onion and it tastes really bad and I can still taste it. Okay, I lied. We're still in the Mercury ditch real quick because we found something cool. The site of a murder of a tree. So someone cut this tree down for whatever reason, and we just found the best fungi ever.
It's bleeding.
It is bleeding. And Eleanor just told me that the reason the sap is like red is because it has iron in it. Which is super cool. Well, I hope you're right, because that would be neat, because my blood also has iron in it, which is pretty neat.
Talk about the fungi.
In common with the tree. Talk about the fungi. We've got this weird thing, which looks like it may be going to spore, which is how fungi reproduce. Which I think I can actually use as a vocab term if I talk more about it, but that's kind of everything I know about spores. Here we've got, this is one of my favorite kinds of shell fungus actually, because it has a variety of colors it goes through. When it's younger, this fungus is like very vivid burnt orange. I know burnt orange doesn't sound like it can be vivid, but it really can. And then it turns to this very deep sort of reddish maroon eggplant color, and it looks awesome. We've got more of that one that looks like a mussel. You shouldn't touch most fungus you encounter, which is sad because they're so pretty. But yeah, these could be dying. This one looks like it's got mold growing on it, which is neat.
Mold growing on mold.
I mean, that would be kind of amazing. But yeah, someone cut this down somewhat recently, and I don't know why they would. But the tree could have been sick. It could have gotten white root. No, that's not the word. There's a particular fungus that can kill oak trees. That's kind of a problem. Because certain environmental conditions created by people can make the trees more vulnerable to it than they should be. And that's kind of not great. We had a tree get that. And subsequently, because what it does is it makes the root system much weaker. So that's more parasitism, really. And then there was a big storm.
Oh dear Lord, what was that?
Oh, he was just opening the rusty door. He's getting out the lawnmower. These are connected to people's backyards, but I know those people. It's fine.
Parasitism.
Right. But so the white root... God, what is this? I have a rock shaped just like this in my room.
Parasitism.
Right. I don't remember the actual name of the fungus. I'm sorry. I'll Google it later, and I won't edit it in or anything. Or maybe I'll ask Sean to put in the subtitles what it actually is called. But, basically, it weakens root systems. I almost said weakens root systems. But anyways, and we had a really big, beautiful oak in our backyard. We have 3, but two of them are fine. But one of them got that white root syndrome, which actually, look, this is a root. I think I could be right about what I'm talking about. And it makes the root system a lot weaker, less supportive of the tree. So the next time there was a big storm, the tree fell over quite easily for an oak that was wider than this one. So yeah, that was pretty sad. Almost ruined our roof. This is an example of selective breeding. This example's name is Sisko. He's named after Captain Benjamin Lafayette Sisko from Deep Space Nine, which if you've seen Deep Space Nine, you'll know is quite the honor. He doesn't live up to that name at all, but he's named that. Hello, Sisko. This is my brother's dog.
There we go.
He is extremely domesticated, as you can tell by his tiny body, which is small and huggable, and his soft fur. Also, his cute face. It is the fact that he looks like a puppy for his entire life, and the fact that he is extremely attached to humans and doesn't even like going outside very much. A true lapdog. He'd rather spend time with people than dogs. So we've done a really good job of making this an animal that's kind of a good pet, except for that thing where he doesn't do anything he's asked to do. He's very badly trained. He doesn't follow any commands. He's impossible to walk. We can barely get him to tell us when he needs to go to the bathroom. He does that, but he doesn't make any noise. Your other dog will scratch the door or bark at it. Sisko will stare at the door. That's all. That's all he does. Basically, a very frustrating animal. My mom is here, and that's why Sisko is sitting here, because she's in the chair next to it, but she won't let us put her in the video because she's wearing her pajamas. Oh, and by the way, she made me push mess out of the view of the frame so everyone would think we live in a perfectly clean house. All the time, always. Like freaks of nature. Exposed, Mom! Sorry, the mess will get in the frame.
Hey, it's mostly out of the frame.
I'm getting the most epic mom glare, y'all. Okay, so these are less domesticated, but they're cute. His name is Percy Jackson Weasley, because my little sister couldn't decide which she loved more. Percy Jackson series or Harry Potter series. So she combined it flawlessly. There's another one named Nico. Guinea pigs are smarter than you think. And like most animals, you can train them a little bit, condition them to certain sounds. We've Pavloved these guinea pigs.
Oh,
Wait.
he's doing it. Nico's doing it.
Oh. Basically, whenever we open the fridge, they scream. But apparently not as much when I try to show you guys.
Or not.
What? This is so lame! Ah! You're just so not hungry. Well, normally we make that noise and they scream their heads off because they want carrots.
You can try later.
Oh wait, delayed reaction. Guinea pigs make an impressive range of sounds. Please Google guinea pig noises. You will be delighted. They sound like R2-D2, but small and weird. And we kind of made them a little bit less afraid of people, I guess. Actually, are guinea pigs even at all domesticated?
Nico's not afraid.
Nico fears nothing. Hello, Nico. He's not even afraid of dogs. Which means that we've taken this prey animal as a species and conditioned it to fear not at all its own predators. That's right, folks. We removed all survival instincts. Evolution! And selective breeding and selective selection. So remember how I said Nico fears nothing? Proof. Hey, Nico. Cisco. Completely unbothered. He's just hanging out. Nico loves to explore too, so he may look like he's moving away from Cisco, but really he's just excited about being out and about, and I have to watch him so he doesn't go under the couch.
He's under the chair.
Yeah, but he could go under the couch from there. Where'd he go?
He's in the front.
Look at him. See, no, he doesn't care. He doesn't mind dogs at all. In fact, Cisco is more likely to get upset about Nico. Oh, did you stop filming?
No, I'm still filming.
Cisco is more likely to get upset about this than Nico is. Nature is amazing, or should I say, selective breeding is amazing. Now we have our invasive species, which is this bush. Not supposed to be here. You know, it's doing very well, so that's why it's invasive. The upside to this particular bush is that it actually isn't that bad for the ecology here, because it's not really taking over too much. And it does provide... Ooh, there's a little exoskeleton. Oh! Exoskeleton's on the list. It looks like a spider shed its exoskeleton here. And we can get a nice look at it. But so this bush in particular is not really bad for the ecosystem because it's coming up on spring. So very soon this bush will have a lot more buds. And all of them will flower at about the same time. This one's flowering kind of early over here. And bees and other pollinators like wasps and stuff, they really love this bush, and they come to it. They just swarm the whole thing when it gets really going. It's pretty good. So it does actually provide a decent food resource. So I'd say not the worst invasive species to have. Although it is a terrible plant to have in the front of your yard. When your brother he grew out of this allergy very recently, but for the majority of his life he was deathly allergic to bees. They would just swarm this a little bit later in the spring, every year. And he would be like, I can't even go outside of our house without risking death. Now he's allergic to fire ants.
Are we gonna talk about the ectos?
Oh, I did talk about the exoskeleton, but exoskeleton, you know, bugs don't have skeletons on the inside, so they put them on the outside because they think it's trendy. And also because it keeps their body and structure in just a different way from us. And they shed outer exoskeletons like when they're growing a new one, which is what happened with this little spider. And I don't know what kind of spider this was, but he looked like he was a cool little boy at some point in his life. Okay, let's go find a modified leaf. Okay, the cactuses have modified leaves in the form of spines. And they kind of develop this, one, to reduce predation, because it's hard to eat you if you're really pointy. And also because plants lose, due to transpiration, plants lose a lot of water through their leaves. And being a desert plant, that's not really cool. I don't know why I did that. This is very pointy. But anyway, they don't want to do that. So to reduce the loss of water, they developed leaves that were like little pointy things, which helps them out. This cactus is covered in little parasitic bugs. So we've got another better example of parasites than mosquitoes. So they kind of, they sit all over it and they suck some stuff out of it. I'm not exactly clear on what, but it leaves behind these white marks all over the cactus. And as you can see, this cactus is covered in these little sort of leopard print marks. Both cactuses, and those are all from these little red bugs, like every single one. The upside is that these bugs are really cute. They're so shiny. Have a good time. Okay. Sean, I found something amazing you've never seen!
Is it me?
You're on video, Sarah. FYI. Your dog and his... Wait, Sarah, can you please bring your dog here? I need to see it.
Isn't he gross?
What did they do to him?
This
This is the worst haircut I have ever seen on an animal.
Yeah, but look.
He has a mohawk. He The diet with animal safe dyes does exist.
Yeah, he's not mentioned.
Anyway, Shani, ready to see something amazing that you've never seen before? It's a segmented organism, also
It's
known
a
as
roly-poly on a
yes,
stick.
the noble roly-poly. You've never seen anything like it.
Are you gonna step outside so I can post it up?
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me get my shoes.
Goodbye.
Do I need the car?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are. We're not
All
gonna walk there. Anyways, we just picked up Sean for the next portion of our video. He's gonna be editing this video, so be sure to appreciate him. Here's the beautiful roly-poly in question. It has a segmented body, as you can see by those little lines where it curls up. It's the armadillo of the bug world, and it's beautiful. And there were fish here a few seconds ago that were really sweet, but I think they've moved on. Goodbye, little heterotrophs.
I got one of them.
Oh, sweet. Okay, fish eat other things that aren't them, and they don't make it themselves. That makes them heterotrophs. Nice, right? Okay, so speaking of troughs, we've got a nice, fun autotroph. That actually may not be a variety of algae. It's kind of hard to tell what's algae and what's not. We've got some plants. They are water plants, and they produce their own food using photosynthesis, which makes them autotrophs because they're eating. Troughs, kind of the pulling in energy kind of word thing. You know, trophic levels, however you want to say that. They make their own food, and that's what they eat for a living. We also have some hermaphrodites, better known as snails, that are over here. Oh god, it's so slippery. They're really small, so you're gonna have to a little bit more. These are little tiny baby snails. They look just like they're rocks. Actually, I can pick this up. And they're all congregated on here. So a hermaphroditic animal is an animal that has both female and male sex organs. And snails are definitely that. In fact, a lot of mollusks are. Giant clams are another great example of a hermaphroditic animal. And they kind of produce eggs and sperm in cycles of their lives so that they don't accidentally breed with themselves. Oh god, Sean, you were supposed to get in the frame at some point in this. I'm so sorry. Sean's here!
Eat fresh.
This is Maggie. She's an African fat-tailed gecko, and she's the most beautiful creature in the world, and she's also an ectotherm, which means that her internal heat regulation systems are very poor, and her body temperature is mostly dependent on environmental temperatures. So we call these, colloquially, we call them cold-blooded organisms, but that's not very accurate because her body temperature is more like what's ever in this room, and this room is kind of muggy. So Maggie, your body's kind of muggy on the inside, but you actually feel kind of cool. Oh my god, she's so cute, Sean.
Yeah, she does not like eating crickets that are smaller than her mouth because she's scared of them.
No, bigger than her mouth.
Bigger than her mouth because she's scared of them. She likes a small one, like my little baby.
Look, so her tail, it's a fun adaptation. Her tail is actually meant to confuse predators. They'll think it's, so like, it's a 50% chance that a predator will think this is her head, and she can survive without it, so.